Welcome back to Chaco Cinema, where every Monday we dive into films that capture the passion, ambition, and chaos behind unforgettable stories. And this month we're going through racing films, whether modern, futuristic, or old school. And so this time we're going with Ford v Ferrari, something that I have much enjoyed. I actually have a poster of it in my bedroom when I worked at the theater. Very, very much love this movie.
Get a fizzy pop, please.
Yes, love. You want one too, Shelby?
No.
Oh, yes, please,
No.
Molly.
No.
So most sports movies are about underdogs trying to win, as you know. And I feel like Ford v Ferrari is very different because this isn't just about racing. It's about the artist trapped inside a corporation and even about obsession, really, and what happens when passion collides with business. So this film was released in 2019, which is kind of crazy because it feels like it's been longer. It was directed by James Mangold, and Ford v Ferrari tells the true story of Ford Motor Company's attempt to defeat Ferrari at the legendary 24-hour Le Mans race in the 1960s. And I think it's Le Mans, I'm sorry. At the center of the story are two very different men. You have car designer Carroll Shelby, played by Matt Damon, and driver Ken Miles, played by Christian Bale. And one is trying to prove himself as a builder, the other is trying to prove himself as a racer. And together they create one of the greatest race cars ever made. And I feel like this movie really begins with Ford struggling to compete with Ferrari's image and prestige. And we start seeing this with Ferrari representing passion and speed and legacy, and Ford representing mass production, business, and control, which is kind of funny because they still kind of represent that. Nothing really changed. And I feel like after a failed deal between the companies turns personal, Henry Ford II decides he wants revenge, and the mission becomes pretty simple: to build a car capable of beating Ferrari at Le Mans. And I feel like the problem is that that's easier said than done. And that's when I feel like that's what makes the movie really work so well, and is the chemistry between Shelby and Miles as characters. Because like I said before, Matt Damon plays Shelby, and he's very smooth talking, someone who understands how to navigate both racing and corporate politics. And Christian Bale's Ken Miles is the exact opposite, very blunt, very stubborn, and obsessed with perfection, and completely uninterested in playing any kind of corporate games whatsoever. And I feel like together, that perfect balance of having these two characters play opposites it helps understand the film and understand people a lot more, because one understands people, one understands cars.
You can't buy a win, Lee. But maybe you could buy the guy who gets you a shot.
And I feel like the racing scenes in Ford v Ferrari are very incredible. James Mangold shoots the races with a sense of speed and danger that feels very immersive without becoming chaotic. And you feel every single gear shift, every vibration, every near-death moment. And the movie constantly reminds you that racing in the 60s was brutal, and there were no guarantees drivers would survive, and that danger hangs over every single scene. I feel like at its core, Ford v Ferrari is about passion versus control. Ken Miles cares about building the perfect race, and Ford executes, our executives really care about that image and profit and publicity. And throughout the film, you can feel the frustration of creative people trying to make something really meaningful and beautiful, even while being surrounded by corporate influence. And I feel like that's why this film really resonates beyond racing fans. Like someone like me, I could care less, but it's not really about the cars. It's about fighting to protect your vision. And it's really about artists. And that's what I really love about this film. Christian Bale completely disappears to the role of Ken Miles. He makes him very funny, frustrating, brilliant, and deeply human. And Ken clearly isn't chasing, fame. He's chasing perfection. And I feel like that obsession gives the movie emotional weight, because every victory feels earned in this film, and every setback feels really, really personal. Now, despite the intense racing, Ford v Ferrari never really loses its heart. The quieter moments of Ken with his family, Shelby fighting for his friend, and the late night conversations about legacy are what make this movie very memorable. It understands that the best sports stories aren't really about winning. They're about the people willing to sacrifice everything for greatness. Now, Ford v Ferrari is, like I've already said before, more than a racing film. I believe overall it's a story about ambition, artistry, and the cost of chasing greatness. And it reminds us that some people aren't built to fit inside systems. They're built to push beyond them. And sometimes that's exactly what changes history. That is it for this week's Chaco Cinema. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Ford v Ferrari, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more weekly movie discussions. And if you want to go above and beyond, like my Patreon producers that I want to take a second to thank, you can hit the links down and below in the description below. Go to Patreon or hit the YouTube join button. You'll get the same type of videos there. You'll get movie reviews, movie vlogs after movies, early reviews. Like, for example, this one might be posted a day early or a day too early or something like that, if you just really like these deep dives and stuff like that. And for example, upcoming, we have Obsession this week, and I plan on doing a spoiler review for that, and that big deep dive, really uncut, unscripted video will be over there on that. So if that's something that you want to do and you want to support the channel, I very much appreciate it. And if you can't totally understand the economy sucks, just hit that like, subscribe button. That helps with the algorithm, and that is pretty much doing the same thing if we're being honest. And with that, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel and watch this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.